Hey guys, how's everyone doing today? It's February 19, 2016. And a lot of people are feeling not just the planetary alignments taking place, but the full moon coming into a full throttle during this time. I also feel like there's people on this planet and even that are connected to my community that are still feeling like residue effects and spiraling shifts, things that they don't even know that they've kept within their system, like their chakra system and their heart chakras, from the blood moon of 2015, April. I can feel it, guys. I can feel it when you send your energies to me. So I'm going to be putting a bunch of smoky quartz crystals in between my legs. So that and I've got here some sage and it's funny because sometimes I really love the presence and the cleansing of Palo Santo, pine, sweetgrass, and then like sage becomes too much, and then when I go back to sage, sometimes it just feels like it's so relevant to me. So when I doing this actually emphasizes and releases more into the air. But anyways, you know what? I want to make this video about. I actually was planning on going outdoors, but it's so exceptionally windy that me recording this video would be a little difficult because due to the wind. There we go. Due to the wind, so I figured I'll just stick to indoors and stuff and talk about what it is that I want to talk about. Okay, so I feel everything that I've accumulated, all my hard labor, all my hard work, whether it's finding myself, getting answers about society as a whole, my family, churches, religions, cultures, BS history, which was rewritten by the Romans. I feel like it's all come together, okay, and it's complete. That cycle is over and done with. And so now I'm moving forward, okay, and I know what I'm, planning on doing with my life. And although it's going to take some time, be like, physical aspects, there's a lot of things to look into. Whether it's moving, whether it's this, whether it's this, whether it's that. However, I feel that it's time for me to incorporate what it is that I feel is most realistic for me as a woman. And I feel that it's time for me to bring this forward into my YouTube channel because there are women who, they will need my help. If it's not now, if it's not something that they have been through, or it can be something to protect their daughters, their children, something that they may find that they may have to incorporate into their life. And I'm going to make this specifically for women because I feel that like I said in the last video, that the inverted pentagram is very much more utilized, more powerful for women than it is for men because of the fallopian tubes of a woman, because of a womb of a woman, her eggs, her ovaries, the way it is, there are men who will associate the inverted pentagram with Satanism. God bless his spirit, anti-Levi, as well as not saying that I'm a fan of him or that I am not a fan of him, but due to respect to souls that have passed on, I do not like to disrespect souls. They like to possess. So, as well as those men that associate the inverted pentagram as the god Pan, or any ram-headed, goat-headed deity. So Um, I have a light, okay, and if I put it upwards, I have the plug. I plug it in, but it's not long enough, and I don't have an extension cord right now. This is the upwards, right? Which I've said before in my last video. To me, this makes sense. I mean, I have stars here. I have 7 stars on top of my Inanna tattoo. Okay, some of them are upwards, some of them are downwards. And then I have another 7 on my ribs. Let's see if you could even see them. No, I don't want to get up and start showing you my... Anyways, I have a huge 7 stars on my left rib, okay? It's like an alignment, you know? But for me, it's very symbolic for man, the physical aspect of man. Man, I'm not going to really say about men and women, okay, yeah, they can be introverted and extroverted, but as the physical body of a man, he is, his body is to be extroverted. This is like an erection of a man going upwards, okay? However, a woman's body, when you put it downwards, okay, which is just the inverted pentagram, it's all about taking in. So it's like the female womb. It's like taking everything in. So, does this make sense to you guys? I know I've explained this in my last video and everything, but to me, this is the most realistic pattern, vibration, golden ratio, sin. Because when it's written in the Bible, sin, it doesn't literally mean sin in that form, but it's more of a sin as a sin number, a sin vibration, a sin frequency, okay? Which, if you look into geometry, sacred geometry, and you look up the shape and the frequency and the numbers according to the inverted and the upward. I'm also born on the 5th month, and the 14 equals 5, the 5th day, 14, so I'm a Taurus. It's very symbolic with Venus. It's very symbolic with this Lucifer character. And there's so much like hatred or misguided information about the inverted pentagram as well as Lucifer. I feel that, as you know, Lucifer was a Latin name, okay? It was a Latin name, and there's prayers and hymns to Lucifer. There's people with the name Lucifer. It means light bearer. Jesus was a light bearer. You know what I mean? So there's a connection between those two. And I just feel that there's just a lot of miscommunications, misunderstandings, and to be quite frank, I'm a fan of this aspect of Lucifer, okay? And I've mentioned that before in my 100% Luciferian video, because, like I said, this is very much linked to femininity, okay, and the fallopian tubes and taking things in. When I say I'm a fan, it's for a specific need, okay, or something that has happened. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example, okay. Years ago, I have been followed and attacked severely, whether it's like sexual abuse, verbal abuse, any form of abuse or attack or assaults, okay, by many religious fanatical groups, many. And this was since I was really, really young, okay, and not even just the groups, but like the pastors and the priests and the preachers and all that stuff, okay. I haven't given you detailed stories and information and all that, but I have. So, years ago, I'm a shaman, and I've reached a point in my life where I feel this is very relevant, and it shouldn't be necessarily kept a secret, because I feel, like I said, this may help, people who are women who are witches and shamans to be able to not be afraid to work with something, based on a certain thing. Now, I truly believe in the laws and the respecting the laws and the cycles, because each dimension has its own set of rules. So, for example, I was attacked, by a Christian. Um, there was rumors going on that he was calling me like a Satanist because I'm a shaman, and didn't care. So, I guess he was drawn to me, like, and he would give me like these ridiculous comments, because, like I said, this was like a group thing that we were kind of in. So sometimes you can't avoid certain people in groups, okay? So you may be in a group of something, and you may like 8 people, 7 people. There's always going to be that one person or that 2 people that, you just, right? There's always something like that. And he would just give me some, like, ridiculous comments. Like, he'd have this yo-yo thing with me where he was, like, super nice to me. Complimenting me. And then all of a sudden, he'd give me these ridiculous remarks that I'm a Satanist. And no matter what he does that's incorrect in this world, he will be saved because, he's Christian. Mind you, I've never disrespected Jesus Christ, and I've believed in that he was an actual person living, so I've never neglected Jesus Christ. I just, if you've been watching me this far, you know what I'm talking about with myself. But I think he just wanted to give me a hard time because he was drawn to me. He wanted to have his way with me. So he'd give me these ridiculous sexual comments, and whatever, I'd brush it off, and a few times other people saw and whatever. And we were kind of, we had to kind of be alone for, like, a group get-together of, like, looking up into, like, different philosophies and stuff like that, and unfortunately I was alone. I had to be alone with him. And he was, like I said, it was like a group type of thing. We were out in public, and he was receiving, like, messages and text messages by, like, the other members of this group, okay? And he sent me, or he said, you know what, because he was on one end of the table, and I was at the end of the table, and he said to me, I gotta go for a little bit, I gotta go to the washroom. And he was, like, gone for, like, 30 minutes. And then he came back, and it was just really odd. He was being really weird. And he came back, and he was just staring at me. Like, just fully staring at me. And, I can't remember word for word, like, exactly what happened. But next thing you know, from what I remember, is this guy was observing, like, obviously had some sort of plan in his head. And then he came to me, and all of a sudden, he just attacked me, and he bit right here, and he bit, like, I'm talking bite, and it was like the guy was possessed, okay? He fucking bit me, and it wasn't like a kiss, it was a bite, and then, like, it was, and I felt that it was more than just something was wrong, like, he was possessed, and, like, he fucking bit me, and, like, the next day, it was black, it took 2 months for it to go. Other people saw it, I took pictures of it, I got him into trouble, and I'll tell you what I did first, okay? And I remember, as soon as he bit me, and then he gave me I couldn't move because it was like I felt paralyzed, like I was injected with venom. And I knew right then and there something had been done to him by other people in the group. So it could have been like a plan and intention that someone else set upon him. It could be that someone else did some form of Kabbalah on him. Because I know what it's like to be in that state of like, I've been around people possessed all my life, and I knew something was off. That wasn't him. So, during that moment, it was like venom. It was like something came into my body. It wasn't just a physical bite that I felt. I felt something flowing into my body. And then he gave me a second hit, and the second hit was right near my breast, okay? Again, like I said, I took pictures of this, and I remember I looked at him and I said, "You don't know what you've just done, do you?" And he's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do, right?" And whatever, I got out of there. I can't remember what happened. I didn't physically hit him. I probably could have, but um, I was getting text messages from other people, I think, and then it's very vague to me because this was a long time ago, okay? It was a fucking long time ago, and because we were all connected, he had, my number and all that stuff, so because we were doing these studies type of thing together, and then all of a sudden, I can't remember if it was the same night or a few days later, because I picked up that someone messed with him, tampered with his spine, his DNA, and so I couldn't really affect because I knew someone sent him to mess with me, because he was going back and forth, like he wasn't all there, and then all of a sudden, I remember I did some ritual, not gonna lie, did a ritual with this inverted pentagram. I had a candle. I think it was green or it was white. Maybe it was red. No, it was white. Green or white. And I ain't gonna lie, man. I took care of it. And one shot hit. And so when I did that, naturally, the candle, when it started dripping, because something was done to this guy, okay? You know the Lucifer symbol, and then there's the V? That shape came out, and I get a phone call, less than 20 minutes later, it's him, crying, begging me for forgiveness, screaming, "I don't want to die," that he fell to the floor, his head's being, like, he's going mental. Like, he came home, he dropped, like, his physical body dropped, he can't move, his brain is, like, being, messed with, like, he felt like his head's being smashed against the wall, and, he can't breathe. He was hyperventilating. I can hear him go, like he was hyperventilating. It was like, the air, because like I said, I hit really hard, and he said to me, "You're doing this. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die." He just kept repeating that. "I don't want to die. You're killing me. You're gonna kill me. You're gonna kill me." Like, if I had this recorded, guys, and I play this to you, and I remember I just said, I was just listening to him, and I was taking in all this information as what was done to this guy. Then I felt bad for him because I knew he was gonna die. I hit that hard, guys. I'm a shaman, okay? I work with fucking darkness and I work with lightness because I know how these dimensions work. If you abuse a woman, if you abuse anyone, I will take responsibility and I will hit back. And when I hit back, you're gonna have to suffer and it's not gonna come off of me because I know how these dimensions work. So, you want to call me a Satanist? Well, I showed you that, right? I showed it to him, what a Satanist is. So, then all of a sudden, I felt bad, I removed it. Had I let that go on what I had done, continue, he would have died one shot. They would have done an autopsy on him, found absolutely no evidence, and that is why witchcraft is extremely exceptional with this stuff. How are you going to get caught, right? I've seen some messed up stuff people have done, okay? Those things I will not do because, again, I believe the causes of the law of cause and effect. I will not harm someone for absolutely no reason. The only time I will do something severe such as that is when assault or rape is involved. And, you know, I know I've said using blood and all that stuff, but this, I know. So what happened was, he was hyperventilating because air, okay? Lucifer is associated with air. And, he was coming through from his throat, his lungs and stuff. So I removed it, and it took him about 24 hours, 48 hours to kind of come back into what happened. But what happened is the poison that he injected to me went back to him, and it rippled, and it went back to the person that sent it. Now I found out there was someone in that group that was secretly doing the Kabbalah and invoking jinn from the Quran. Now, if you're familiar with a jinn is like, like a genie. A lot of, in Islam, they work more with jinn than they work more with a god aspect, because the jinn tells them information about people. Jinns can possess people, your home, your environment, your daggers, your statues, everything. They will, and they give you information. They tell you how to rob someone. They tell you how to use someone. Okay? It's like it's a spirit that's possessed you, or, wants to possess you, or you tell it what to do, and a lot of times people don't know what they're doing. So it reverses that, especially if they're dealing with someone who knows what they're doing. So he was doing the Kabbalah again, and he was working with this jinn, and he didn't know what he was doing, this guy. And obviously this friend of his, or this guy in this group, got attacked, and he ended up attacking me because he saw a female. And you have to understand and know that the Kabbalah works best female and male, because like I said, the 6-pointed star, like I said, the Kabbalah affects the most with spirits love to possess human beings, to feel sex, to feel pain, to feel whatever. Because when you do the Kabbalah, like I said, the inversion, okay, the inversion pentagram, a woman takes into her womb, and then it comes out in her aura. So, it stays into her aura, auric effect, and it's not even just that you're giving birth to a physical body. You can give birth to an idea, give birth to a new dimension, give birth to a new frequency, and stay on that frequency. Create a new reality, create a new pain, create a new sorrow, create a new happiness, create a new joy, create a new project, create whatever. So do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's creating something, an intention. So that guy that unleashed that jinn, it went to him, and it tried to come and take possession over me, but because of what I did, that poison went back to him, and then it rippled back to the first guy who said it, and set that intention, or he messed up, and it started rippling, and there was confusion among everybody, but the truth came out eventually, and the other guy got kicked out, and everybody got into trouble, and I came out as the victor, and everybody was fucking terrified of me, because maybe for, a few hours of that pain and that picture that I had, which I could have sued his fucking ass, had him thrown in jail, in prison. Unfortunately, though, in Canada, prison's a joke, so what difference would it have made, really? And having him charged, it's not like the money would have came to me. The police officers, the government enjoys that assault charges. But like I said, there are certain aspects where women can get away from this, or protect themselves and find answers. And what happened, let's just say as a whole, why I'm saying with this whole Lucifer thing and this Luciferian thing or whatnot, is because of what they did, because of their mistakes of them attacking me. What happened is I did give birth to a new creation. I turned the wheel. I became much more aware of how to work with a certain lower entity and to make it my friend and to work with it and to make it into a partner for me. And that's why from now on, after this symbol, Metatron's cube, the inverted pentagram it's going to be my symbol as a woman, as a female. And if you still don't really understand what I'm trying to grasp at with this, with what I'm trying to explain, again, I'm a female. According to most men, I'm a very attractive female. I regularly have to go through these type of assaults of men, trying to attack me sexually or whatever. And a lot of times they're possessed. So I will always have this inner power and this will to work with these entities. And again, Lucifer is a fan of women, the physical aspect of women, because Lucifer likes, all entities, they like the womb because they have a place to stay, they have a home to stay, they have food, they have shelter, more than man. You have to understand that, more than man. So, if this has scared you, that's not my problem. But, like I said, it's just a very important thing I think that most people should be more aware of. Women should be more aware of that if you'd like to give birth to new projects as well. Working with the inverted pentagram is highly, highly potent. It works exceptional. It's not just for like these attacking or sending back some sort of thing, but that was that day where I claimed Lucifer to be my to and that's it. And I didn't have to do much. I didn't really even have to invoke his spirit. He just appeared. So it was like as if Lucifer took in all that poison of that guy that sent in that jinn, that the Kabbalah, and then hit it back out, and then gave it to them. So they got hit, and then their intentions were revealed to me. Remember, Lucifer is the light bearer and the god of intelligence associated with wind. And in return, he gave to me a new reality, a new project, and I gave birth to this new reality. So there's so many like different dimensions and frequencies, and I just hope I'm making sense to all of you. Did you guys realize I put my ribbon, my protective ribbon with the amulet there? The Nazar amulet? That's funny. But yeah, so I don't see it as Satanist. I see religion to be the religion, the philosophy, Satanism, is literally written in the Christian books. If you want to know the true religion of Satanism, it's Christianity. It's not, because I don't believe in Satan. I don't believe in Satanism. I believe a woman has a womb. I believe there is an animal as a goat and a ram, and they attack with the head, because they're highly intelligent. And this is going to sit well with some people. It's going to create some disturbances in other people, and that's fine with me because I've reached a point of my life where I find this to be the most realistic thing for me in my life, because I've been a person that's had to have gone through rape many times. And when a woman is raped, when a child is raped, especially because I'm so energetically sensitive, I'm so sensitive that it's a strength in truth, because I start absorbing that intention that people give to me, that's sent to me. So if a man or a woman has the intention, if they end up, trying to physically rape me or from the past or whatever, I end up absorbing that into my energy body, okay? Whatever intention. So in order, instead of me to become that intention, because if you know anything about energy and sensitive people, because I'm also like a crystal child, which crystals, if you give an intention and put an intention into a crystal, this is smoky quartz, tumblestones. You set an intention into a crystal, obviously then the crystal absorbs your intention, right? So what I do is, when that happens, I work with my womb. I work with witchcraft and shamanism. I turn the flippin' wheel. And it hits, okay? It's going to hit you. It's going to hit your ancestors. And because I've got the Hebrew into my spine, depending on what I say and the frequencies that come out, it's going to go in. So this is nothing to be ashamed of, men and women. Like I said, the inverted pentagram works with men too, but I find that men don't quite understand it well. It's not the same. It's just not the same. I feel like they use it more for flesh, materialistic needs, like indulgences, which is not really wrong. However, or they'll use it as like an atheistic type of thing where they try to gain more finances and trying to gain more sex partners or like things of that nature. But, that just, it still involves your intuition. It still involves the inner empowerment and a woman's true inner empowerment other than her heart. Because when you look at the inverted pentagram, when you look at the triangle that goes down, which is also in the fallopian tubes, and it's also in the six star of David, or the six-pointed star, the way it's shaped on a woman's body is the two edges comes to her heart, which is the heart chakra, so that's where she's full. And then it goes downwards into the shape of her vagina down to her feet. Like that angle, that cone, which is, again, associated with the Malkuth in the Kabbalah. And the lower aspect in the Trinity, like the Martin Luther, his Lutheranian Trinity, which was like Jesus Christ, Father God, and then this Shekinah, the Sophia, the Divine Feminine, the Holy Spirit, which is, again, which goes up. So there you have it, guys. If that makes sense, great. If it doesn't make sense, send me an email, or you can make a response video and see where this may lead. Because if you're a witch and you're a female or a shaman and you feel you have your own interpretation, I'd love to hear it. If you've worked with the inverted pentagram, I'd love to hear your experiences. I have 1,000,001 different experiences. But I find that I'm going to, again, keep stating a shaman and a witch has the power to heal and to kill. It is both equally correct if applied in a very smart and sensitive manner that involves, respecting nature, respecting the elements, respecting yourself. And it's equally dangerous and if it's incorrectly applied and you're doing it out of your ego or jealousy or envy just to gain something, like that guy who was working, or even sometimes people don't even know, like they're practicing something and you're not going to really be able to master something until you keep making mistakes and suffer your own consequences until you realize, wait a minute, I'm doing this, it's not, I keep getting punished, I keep getting hurt, the other people are benefiting, why is this happening? So that's when you have to realize you got to respect the elements in nature and understand more of the laws and these different vibrations and these different frequencies, okay? So on that note, I've promised myself, and I even got the cue and the get-go and the respect from Martin Luther, that if I do have a boy, like if I end up ever having a child and I have a boy, I'm going to be naming him Luciferus. And again, it's a Latin name. It means light bearer. It's associated with Venus. Um, which I don't see that as the devil at all. It makes no sense to me. And if I have a female, I'm going to call her Lucine, which means the moon, and it's my grandmother's name. So I'm going to allow that shamanistic, she was a shaman, to go forward and to move forward. It's funny because my grandmother's name is Lucine. My name is Talar. It means the tree of life. And my dad's name means fire. Okay. And like he has an Armenian name, but in English, or it's translated as fire. And then my dad's sister that lives in Canada, the one I lived with for like a month or two, about a month and a half, I lived with her. She, her name means sunrise, so it's some interesting names. So I'd like to continue that interesting names, you know, and, yeah, it's funny. My mom called me, yesterday, and, she's like, I need to see you, and she's like, I'm so pissed off, and she starts swearing. I'm like, oh gosh, what now, right? So, as you know, my mom's a redhead, and has severe anger, just like most redheads are known to be. And she's like, I'm so pissed off, and then she just starts like freaking screaming, and she's like, I went to go to this supermarket, and I went to go park, and there's this van in front of me, this black van, and I was parking, there was an open space, and he's not moving, and she's like, I went to go turn right to go park, and, well, this guy's signal was left, so I didn't assume he's gonna go park there. She goes, while I'm parking, does this guy not open the window? He was Asian, apparently. Does he not open the window and start screaming at me, you fucking bitch? And my mom told me, she's like, I was like, what? Did I just hear that? I'm telling you right now, if you guys ever meet my mom or see my mom, you can call her a million things. You can tell her she's stupid, you can tell her she's whatever, but don't call her you're a bitch, because she will lose her shit. She will lose her shit. This has happened so many times. Apparently, she comes out of the car, she goes up to his car, and she's telling me this, and she's yelling when she's explaining it. She goes up to his car, and she says, who do you think you're calling a bitch? And he's like, you. I'm calling you a bitch, you dumb bitch. He's like, you took my parking lot. You took my parking spot. And then all of a sudden, she goes, your signal was to the left. And then, you know, and all this stuff, and she's like, I'm not moving for you. And then he's like, and then all of a sudden, he's like, what? She's like, I'm not moving. She's like, come out of the car. And then he's like, he just started yelling at her, calling her a bitch over and over again. She goes, when I heard this bitch, she goes, I lost my shit. She goes, in front of everybody, I started screaming, I'm gonna show you who's a fucking bitch. She's like, get out of the fucking car. She's like, if I had a knife, I would have been, that's it. She's like, I would have chopped his fucking head off. I'm like, Mom, here we go. Oh my God. So, she's like, 20 minutes, I'm in front of his van. She's like, I would have broken his van. I'm like, you would have gotten arrested. You know that, right? She's like, I don't give a fuck. And she's like, I went all around the street. She's like, I'm screaming at this guy. I'm going to show you who's a fucking bitch. She goes, apparently he drove off while she's screaming and everybody's staring at her at the parking lot. Because he wouldn't come down. Because she kept saying, come down, show me. I'm going to show you who's the fucking bitch. And he wouldn't come down. And so, she, you know, and then all of a sudden he was driving off to go find another parking lot. She goes, I started running. And that's how she talks. She's like, I started running. I went to the parking lot and I stood in the parking lot. And she goes, before he's parking, so he can't park because she's like, now I'm standing there, and she's like, I'm the best, and she's like, I'm showing him who's the bitch. Now I'm the bitch, and then all of a sudden she's like, I'm standing there, and she's like, come on, run me over, show me how big your dick is. I'm like, oh my god, mom. She goes, it didn't end there, okay? She goes, it didn't end there. She goes, he wouldn't even come in the park. He wouldn't park, and everybody's watching. And then she goes, yeah. She's like, you calling a woman a bitch? I'm going to show you what a bitch is. I'm going to show you the definition of a bitch. I'm like, I know, mom. I know my mom, guys. Like, when she loses her shit, that's it. And the guy wouldn't come down. He wouldn't park. There was no other parking lots. After a certain moment, he left. She went in. She went in the supermarket. She's like, that's it, right? And then she just starts, people are watching, they're looking at her, eh? They all went in the supermarket, and she's like, I'm talking to myself with anger, like, I'm getting all these cucumbers, she's like, I'm getting all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, she goes, I see him come in. She goes, after 20 minutes, she's like, I see him come in. She goes, in front of everybody in the supermarket, she goes, I still lost my shit. She's like, yeah, I'm a bitch. I'm gonna fucking show you. I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, thank god I wasn't there. That's it. And she goes, I started expressing everything on how this guy doesn't have a balls. She's like, you want to know who has balls? I have balls. Show me your dick in front of everyone. She's like, show me your manhood. I want to see how big your dick is. And she goes, I embarrassed him. I'm like, Mom, you look like you're a crazy woman. And she's like, I don't care. Because you know what happened after? She goes, there's an Indian man and a group of these other people. They all came up to me and they started clapping. They started clapping. She goes, because I'm a woman, you're calling me a bitch? She goes, he can't even see. He doesn't have eyes. He signaled to the left. And he's screaming at me that I'm a bitch that I parked in his parking lot. She goes, is it written in stone that that's his parking lot, that he's gonna call me a bitch? Show me your manhood. Show me how big your dick is, if I'm a real bitch. Guys, that's so funny because my mom, when I was a little girl, as you know, my mom used to work a lot. And my dad was sick. I believe he was in the hospital. He had just gone through my dad had a lot of heart issues and stuff. So, my mom they used to have a business near Jane and Finch. There was a lot of high crimes there. If you guys are aware of Jane and Finch, and their business at the time used to be run till like 3-4 in the morning, okay? And, I'm gonna keep this short because I gotta really use the washroom. I just had like all this water, and all of a sudden she goes, it was like, I'm like, whatever. She was there until like 3 in the morning, and they had a video and all that stuff. They had a video recording, and these two guys come in, and because there was a camera recording, police got involved after it. Obviously, they go by the skin color, so there was a white man and a black man that came in, and she was alone. And they went up to her, and she said that she could feel something was fishy. Nobody was there, so she locked there's a door to get into the cash. She locked that door quickly, so they came to the other area of the cash, and she was alone. And obviously, they watched her that she was alone because she was closing the till, and she was gonna go home, right? And all of a sudden, one of the guys is at one side is trying to break open, fondling with the door. And then the other guy came to the cash area, and one of the guys took out a weapon near the door, and then the other guy, like a small dagger type of thing, and then the other guy that was in front of her took out, went like this to her, and said, bitch, open your cash register and give me all your money. And again, like I said, when she used to explain this, she goes, when I heard bitch, that's it, I lost my shit. She goes, I don't care about the money. I don't care if he had said to me, give me your money, I would have given him the money. But she goes, in my business, and in this man's coming into my business and calling me a bitch to give him money. She goes, I showed him who the real bitch is. She says, she just kept saying, who are you calling a bitch, right? And he's like, I told you to open the till. And she goes, shoot me. And he's like, what? She's like, shoot me. I'm not giving you anything. You called me a bitch. I'm gonna die like a bitch. She's like, shoot me. And he's like, ma'am, I don't want this to get all bloody and gory and ugly. And he's like, just give me the money and we can save you your life. And like I said, just across, Jane and Finch area is pretty bad. And just across in the same plaza, there used to be an O'Toole's bar that used to be run at the same time. Like, they used to close around 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And so many people had been shot there at that time, okay? So it was in the same plaza. And they used to come there and they used to go to their business. Like, after the bar or during the bar, they used to come to my parents' business. And she goes, and this whole thing was recorded, and the police came, and I even saw the video, okay? And I saw my mom doing this. My mom, we have butcher knives there. We had butcher knives there. My mom took out this butcher knife, and she goes, explaining it, she goes, I come from Syria. She goes, I'm Armenian. And she even explained this to the cop. She goes, I come from Syria, and she goes, we're Armenian. And she's like, we've gone through genocides. We were raised in fucked up situations where we had to watch our own families get raped and killed. This man is coming to my own business, calling me. She goes, I leave my home. I leave my mother native language, culture, or country. My family has to go with their feet, travel to Syria and build a new home. Then we come to Canada, and this fucker is telling me, bitch, give me your money. She goes, I don't care. If you're going to kill me like a man. But she goes, I took out this butcher knife because they saw, right? And they almost arrested her because the laws in Canada is if you first touch someone, because he didn't actually touch her. If you first touch someone, you're going to get charged. But she took out this butcher knife and she slammed the butcher knife. She flipped it around, Noah, so she didn't really, like, cut him or anything. But she flipped it around. I don't have a knife right now to show you, but she took it and she banged his head. The other guy was in a state of shock, so he came, because he basically got, like, knocked out, because I saw the video that his head went like this, and, the other guy came, and my mom got the knife too, and she clonked his head, both their heads. By the way, I've done this myself. Not with it, well, I have done this myself, and they both stormed out. They didn't even take any money, and the other guy pushed the other guy and he said, let's get the fuck out of here. This woman's crazy. And then they both left. Immediately, my mom called the cops and they came. They watched the video. Eventually, I think months later, these two guys got caught and stuff. But they didn't end up doing anything, like I said. But I can't remember if this was the time, because there was another time where these other guys came. And my brother he was 14 years old, and he had a gun pulled to him at the same area around Jane and Finch. And they, like, put the gun, like, in his, like, pants, in his, like, underwear. And that's how close they came to him. And then there was this other time where they had a Sri Lankan worker, and this guy came in with a hammer and a gun, and he started shooting in our business. He started shooting the bottom of the floor, and took a hammer and started smashing the walls. And my mom wasn't there. I can't remember if my dad was there either, but like I said, a lot of times my dad was in the hospital at this time. And again, Jane and Finch is a fucked up area. It was always corrupt. There's a lot of, like, drug busts and stuff like that there, and messed up people. And, like, the worker, like, they hit his nose with the hammer. I remember that. They didn't, like physically harm my family or anything. My brother, he just had the gun pulled to him, but nothing was done to him. But that's just, like, it goes to show, I don't know what this has to do with the inverted pentagram, but I thought, I don't know why it just came out that I should share this, that, okay, yeah, like, at the end of the day, she's my mom. She's got severe anger. I have similarities to her, because I'm very flame oriented. Like, I have a lot of inner fire. Although I'm not angered to the degree that she is, I do get angry here and there, but my anger is very short, and my anger is more introverted. Like, I take in a lot, and then when I take in a lot, I've taught myself how to turn something, like turn the wheel, and how to benefit from it, how to take in, how to take this shit and turn it into, or the anger, or this resentment, or this sting, or this poison, and how to, because anger is poison, guys, and how to bring it to light, and how to make it positive for me, how to make it work for me. It's a lot of times why I get really inflamed and swollen when I do a lot of, like, spiritual work as well. So, which is why I'm a lot like a Scorpion. Like, I'm a lot like a Scorpio. And I've not only been come to this realization, but, like, other readers and astrologers have even said, like, Talar, I know you're a Taurus, but you're a lot like a Scorpio. Like, your personality, who you are inwardly, you're a lot like a Scorpio. Like, I myself, I'm not gonna lie, I'm very vindictive, I'm devious, I'm sly, and I'm revengeful. And there's people out there that are like, well, you know what, revenge is not the way, but there's different kinds of revenge, okay? Some revenge is good revenge, and how can you say that, you may say, when something is a certain way, it's not good? There's a positive and a negative to every characteristic. There's a positive and a negative to everything in life, every trait, everything, every vibration, every frequency. If you are around assholes, abusers, people that give you nothing but assault and give you their shit, there's many ways to be vindictive and revenge. There's ways on, you know, taking in their crap and their assault, and turning it, the wheel, and turning it into, to not giving a shit enough, where you empower yourself to be stronger and wiser and benefit and come out as an empowered person, and to use this as your work, like I'm doing. Everything that I've been through in life that's been very difficult, all the rapes, all the assaults, all the abuse, look what I'm doing with it. I don't see myself as a victim. I don't believe in victimhood. I don't go, you know, assaulting other people. But I do teach about it, and I do use it as part of my work. So it means I'm a victor. It means I use it as a victory, and I am successful, and I will always be successful. And so that is a form of revenge. And so people that will continuously think they're going to have their way with me, I will be the victor, and I will win. Because, and I have always won. And even if I had to suffer for a few days or whatever, because it's painful to take it in at first. But when I turn the wheel, I think long term. I still am a Taurus, and, you know, even Scorpios, they think long term. I will suffer for a few days, a few months, a few years, a few weeks, so that in the long run, I am the victor and I am the winner. And yeah, that is revenge, and that is being vindictive or devious or sly, because maybe that is an intention. But at the end of the day, it's actually a positive thing. So you can say that, whatever it is you want to say, you can believe whatever it is that you want to believe. So I've realized this is almost an hour long video, and I really gotta use the washroom to pee. So sorry about that. Got a hiccup. But yeah, I hope this message though sits well with everyone. I just feel like I've become so strong in my own morals. I've become so empowered and strong. And I'm, you know, I'm like an oak tree. I'm this tree. I'm like this very, very strong, noble tree. And I can see myself, and I'm not just putting myself up and putting other people down, but I can see what I am and who I've become. And I feel that my relationship with my father was the most hard thing for me, more than anything in this world, more than any rape, more than any assault, the most that has ever affected me was the death of my father, and that was a silent poison to me, okay? That day, that I made that video, the 17th of February on Martin Luther, the clarification, I felt such a strong shift and connection with my own father that I fucking cried for like 2 hours, okay? I didn't even cry when my dad died. I didn't cry at the funeral. I didn't cry, and from what I know about my dad, he didn't cry when his mom died, and he was close to his mom. So we have that in common. We keep things in, and find our own outlets, but there's nothing that has affected my life purpose, and what I've chosen to do with my life, the way my dad's life has been. His intentions has really been very set for me growing up, who he was, although I've come to that conclusion and that clarity that we are, we take in what our parents want us to be, and it's not really us, but we take it in and we can choose to change it. When I did come to that realization that yes, I can change it, I realized I am like my father. 99.999999999% I am my father inwardly. More than I am my mom, more than I am my mom's brothers, my grandfather, my grandmother. I am like my grandmother on my mom's side, but I'm so much more like my dad. I heard stories of my dad. Like, he was telling me some stories, some private stories of him that nobody on this planet, not even his wife knew, nobody knew. And he started telling me, and not even just the way he was telling me, but the stories of what he was telling me, I realized right then, I am like my father. And he had these eyes, these powerful eyes. His life, everything would speak through his eyes. What he was feeling would speak. He can kill with those eyes. He can heal with those eyes. Those eyes. And it's just this intuitive power. And I have that from him. My mom was more like, it's different, I said, yeah, men's bodies are different than women's bodies. My mom is very intuitive too. But she, because of her temper and her anger, because my mom has like a 200 degrees fucking anger, like severe anger. She was never able to conquer her anger. She was never able to master her anger. That is why she's always burned herself, I think. And she wasn't able to succeed in whatever that she wanted to succeed in. It was because of that anger. Some anger people think is good, okay, but when it comes to my mom, it's severe, and it's just, I always promised myself I wouldn't turn into that, and I'm glad that I didn't. So, yeah. My mom is actually an air sign, so that makes sense too, right? Because air, the element air is very communicative, and they're like all over the place. My mom is like all over the place, really restless, and all over the place. My mom is actually an Aquarius. She's born February 6th, so her birthday passed. And Aquarians are very humanitarian, like they're humanitarians. They're good, like but she's not so much with her family. She's more with other people, if that makes sense. Like, she lets out her anger most to her family, to the people that she loves. I don't know. Anyways, guys, like, it's almost 60 minutes. So you're probably like, okay, I'm going to shut this video. This girl talks too much. And you probably cut this video off at like 30 minutes anyways, because you probably lost interest. So, yeah, if I don't make a video, happy full moon, guys. On the 22nd of February, I may make a reading, a cartomancy reading for March, or I may just stick to just a reading without the cards, because I feel like I don't know if I want to work with cards anymore for public videos. I don't know, we'll see what happens. Alright, so Yeah, okay, take care. I wish everybody a grateful moon, and again, for the females, I hope this sits well for the men. You're probably not going to understand anyways. I've never met any man, I've never met anyone on this planet who understands me. I've accepted that. That's fine. I understand myself. That's the most important thing. That's the most healthiest thing, because there's people out there that don't understand themselves. And my relationship with myself is the most utmost important thing in this world for me. It's not about another person, it's about me. So, we'll see you soon, and yeah, take care. Bye.